Success doesn't hide. It's not some mysterious force that shows up for the lucky few. It doesn't belong to the chosen ones, and it's never a matter of chance. It's a result that follows a system. And like any system, it works when you work it. Too many people spend years chasing motivation, waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right sign. But success doesn't wait. It doesn't care how you feel. It responds to discipline, not emotion. It rewards consistency, not intensity. You don't need to discover a secret. You need to follow a strategy. Want better health? There's a system. Nutrition, exercise, rest repeated daily. Want financial freedom? There's a system. Earn, save, invest, practice steadily. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. The farmer doesn't pray for crops. He plants the seed, waters it, protects it, and waits. He trusts the process because harvests don't come from hope. They come from habit. The same is true in your life. If your habits align with your values, your success becomes predictable. If they don't, your struggle becomes permanent. The person who succeeds isn't more special, they're just more structured. They've figured out that the boring stuff, done daily, beats the exciting stuff done occasionally. Wake up early, read daily, set goals, track progress, take action even when it's uncomfortable. That's the system, and it works. Success isn't a secret kept from you. It's a system waiting for you. Start today, because when you work the system works for you. Success is not luck. It's the result of following a system. People often look at someone who's made it, who's built a business, achieved financial independence, transformed their health, and they whisper they got lucky. But luck is a poor excuse for someone else's hard work. It's easy to call it luck when you didn't see the early mornings, the late nights, the failures, the persistence. You didn't see the system they followed when no one was watching. Success doesn't come from guessing. It comes from planning. It doesn't appear when you feel inspired. It arrives when you do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. You see, there's a rhythm to success. A pattern, a process, and that process isn't hidden. It's just ignored because the system isn't glamorous. It's not loud or flashy. It's quiet, steady, and consistent, waking up early, writing down goals. Studying a little more, saving a little more, eating a little better. These aren't acts of luck. They're decisions, small ones, but done repeatedly, they build momentum, they shape character, they create results. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It's not even intelligence, it's systems. Winners run systems, losers rely on emotion. If you're waiting to feel motivated, you'll be waiting forever. But if you put a system in place, one that pulls you forward, motivation becomes irrelevant. Imagine trying to build a house with no blueprint. You'd call that foolish. So why live your life that way, without a plan? Without structure, without daily steps that guide you forward? You can't reach your destination by chance. You reach it by direction. A system gives you that direction. Think of the gym. One workout won't transform your body, but a routine, 3 to 5 times a week over months. That's a system, and that system delivers results. Think of money. One paycheck won't make you rich, but earning, saving, investing, that's a system. And systems build wealth. Success doesn't ask, are you lucky? It asks, are you consistent? It asks, do you repeat the right actions over time without needing applause? Because systems don't care about feelings. They care about repetition, about alignment, about long-term vision. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your systems. And the good news, anyone can build one. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need to start. You don't need to do everything at once. Start with one habit, one routine, one step, then repeat, track it, refine it, and stick with it. Because while most people keep searching for secrets, the ones who win are the ones who commit to the system. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is reliable. Motivation feels good. It's the spark that lights the fire. But it doesn't last. One moment you're ready to take on the world. The next, you're looking for reasons to hit snooze. Motivation is a wave. It rises high and then it crashes. It's inconsistent. It's emotional. It depends on your mood, your surroundings, even the weather. That's why you can't rely on it. Because what happens when motivation doesn't show up? What happens when the energy is gone and the excitement has faded? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It shows up no matter what. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's choosing progress over comfort. It's waking up when the bed is warm. It's working out when your muscles ache. It's studying when your mind wanders. Discipline is a habit. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows when you train it. The problem is, most people treat motivation like a strategy, but it's not. It's a feeling, and feelings come and go. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision. It's a commitment. It's showing up daily with or without applause. Think about the high performers, athletes, leaders, creators. They don't rely on hype. They rely on habits. They don't always feel motivated, but they are disciplined. They follow a schedule. They stick to routines. They execute the plan. That's what separates them. Because while motivation asks, "Do I feel like it?" discipline says, "Do it anyway." Motivation is unpredictable. Discipline is dependable. One day you'll be tired. One day you'll be discouraged. One day nothing will go as planned. Motivation won't help you then, but discipline will. Discipline doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need the right playlist or the perfect weather. It just needs your decision, and the beautiful part, the more you act with discipline, the more momentum you build. The more momentum you build, the easier it gets. And soon, the actions that once required force become automatic. Discipline becomes your identity. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. You don't have to fight with your feelings. You just follow through. You trust the process. You respect the routine. And that's how you win. Because success doesn't reward those who act when they feel like it. It rewards those who act no matter what. Motivation can start the engine, but discipline drives the distance. Every area of life, health, wealth, relationships, has its own proven system. There are patterns to follow, blueprints that work, not guesses, not miracles, systems. Health isn't a mystery. Eat whole foods, move your body, get enough rest, do it consistently. Your body responds. It's not magic. It's biology. It's repetition. Yet so many chase shortcuts. They look for hacks. They try every new diet, but they avoid the system, the one that actually works. The truth is, health is built in the boring moments. The daily walk, the glass of water, the choice to sleep instead of scroll. Small things, done over time, that's the system. And it's the same with wealth. Financial freedom doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the disciplined. Spend less than you earn. Save a portion. Invest wisely. Let time do its work. That's the system. You don't need to win the lottery. You need to stop wasting dollars. You need to stop chasing trends. And start building habits. Wealth is not created by chance. It's created by consistent action, by mastering the basics. Even relationships follow a system. You want stronger bonds, then give more than you take. Listen more than you speak. Be present, be kind, be honest. That's the system. People complicate relationships, but at the core, they're simple. Respect, time, trust. You can't show up once a month and expect deep connection. You can't neglect someone emotionally and expect loyalty. It doesn't work that way. You get out what you put in, over time, with effort, and just like health and wealth, the key is consistency. Daily deposits into the relationship. Small gestures, steady presence. That's what builds lasting connection. The common thread in all these areas is this. There's a system, a process that works, and it's not complicated, but it does require discipline. It requires patience, and it requires belief. Belief that small actions matter. Belief that the system works. If you treat health as a one-time event, you'll stay frustrated. If you treat wealth as a gamble, you'll stay broke. If you treat relationships as background noise, they'll fall apart. But if you follow the system, if you stay committed, if you stay consistent, life responds, the body heals, the bank grows, the heart connects. You can't control everything, but you can control what system you follow, and whether or not you show up for it. You don't need to be a genius to win in life. You need a system, and the discipline to stay in it. That's how you transform, not overnight, but over time, by following what works and working what you follow. Habits build success more than inspiration ever will. Inspiration feels good. It lights a spark. It lifts your mood. It gives you hope. But inspiration fades. It comes in waves. It's loud today and silent tomorrow. You can't build a life on something that disappears overnight. You can't count on emotions to do the heavy lifting. But you can count on habits. Habits don't ask how you feel. They just show up, day after day. Small actions, repeated over time, create massive results. You don't need to feel inspired to show up early. You just make it a habit. You don't need to be excited to go to the gym. You just go because that's what you do now. You don't need to wait for motivation to work on your goals. You build a system, you follow it. You trust the routine. Inspiration is the flame, but habit is the furnace. It keeps the fire burning long after the spark is gone. The successful are not the most inspired. They are the most consistent. They build habits that align with their goals. They show up when it's hard. They work when no one's watching. They understand that habits don't care about excitement. They care about repetition. They care about rhythm. Wake up early, write down your goals, practice your craft, read daily, eat well, rest fully. These aren't glamorous, but they're powerful, because they build the foundation. You can be inspired by someone's success, but you can only earn your own by building habits. Success doesn't come from the once-in-a-while decision. It comes from the daily choice to stay focused, to stay disciplined, to do the work. Habits shape identity. When you act in alignment with your goals again and again, you stop needing to feel motivated. You just become the person who does the thing. The runner doesn't need to be motivated every morning. They've become someone who runs. The writer doesn't need daily inspiration. They've become someone who writes. The leader doesn't wait to feel ready. They've trained themselves to take action. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your habits. So build good ones. Build them slowly. Build them honestly. And protect them like your future depends on it. Because it does. You don't need more inspiration. You need more structure. You don't need to feel amazing to make progress. You just need to do the next right thing, and then do it again tomorrow. Because the people who win aren't fueled by inspiration. They're fueled by discipline, by commitment, by habit, and that's something you control. So start small, start steady, start today, not with a burst of excitement, but with a habit that leads to the life you want. You fall to the level of your systems, not rise to the level of your goals. Goals sound powerful. They give you a direction. They give you hope. They give you something to aim for. But goals by themselves don't get you there. Everyone sets goals. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to win. But very few build the systems required to get there. The truth is, when pressure hits, when life gets messy, when motivation runs dry, you don't rise to the dream you wrote down. You fall back to your habits. You fall back to your structure. you fall back to your system. If your system is weak, your performance will be weak. If your system is solid, your results will be solid. It's not about having the biggest dream. It's about building the strongest process. You can have a goal to get fit, but if you don't schedule workouts, if you don't track your meals, if you don't commit to sleep, then the goal is just a wish. You can set a goal to become financially free, but if you don't budget, if you don't save, if you don't invest, you're falling back to financial habits that keep you stuck. The dream is not the issue. It's the system behind the dream. Think of an athlete. They don't win because they hope to win. They win because their training system is locked in. Think of a writer. Books don't get written by dreaming of bestsellers. They get written by sitting down every day and writing. Systems remove the guesswork. They make action automatic. They create structure where emotion wants chaos. Without a system, your mind wanders. Without a system, your time disappears. Without a system, your goals stay on paper. But with the right system, you don't need to ask, what do I do today? You already know. You don't need to hope for motivation. You just follow the process. You don't need to worry about falling behind, because systems keep you moving forward even when it's slow, even when it's hard. Systems create results, and results build confidence. That confidence builds momentum, and that momentum carries you farther than any goal ever could. Success becomes the byproduct, the outcome of a process that works. So stop focusing only on the goal. Start focusing on what you do daily, how you manage your time, how you manage your thoughts, how you manage your energy. If your system is built to win, you'll win eventually. If your system is built on chaos, you'll fall consistently. You don't get what you hope for. You get what you're structured for. Because in the end, it's not about what you want. It's about what you do again and again. The system you follow is the life you live. So build one worth falling into. Consistency beats intensity. It's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you do every single day. Anyone can go hard for a day. Anyone can sprint for a moment. But it's not the sprint that transforms you. It's the steady walk you choose to take, day after day. Intensity is loud. It's dramatic. It looks good. It grabs attention. But consistency is quiet. It doesn't demand applause. It doesn't need a spotlight. It just keeps going. Intensity burns bright, but it burns out fast. Consistency burns slow, and it never stops. A single intense workout won't change your body, but a simple routine, followed for months, will reshape your health. A huge burst of inspiration won't build your dream, but small actions taken every day will turn it into reality. Consistency is the compound effect, the slow drip that fills the bucket, the daily effort that multiplies over time. You don't need to crush it every day. You just need to show up every day. You don't need perfection. You need persistence, because the person who moves steadily will always outlast the one who moves wildly. Think of a drop of water. It seems harmless, but let it drip on stone for long enough, and it creates a groove. That's the power of consistency. It's not about doing more. It's about doing it again. The world rewards consistency, not chaos. Show up, keep showing up, especially when it's boring, especially when no one notices. That's when character is built. That's when progress is made. That's when breakthroughs begin. Intensity wants fast results. Consistency creates lasting ones. The person who writes one great page a day will write a book. The person who lifts a little every week will build strength. The person who learns something new each day will become wise. It's not about how fast you go. It's about how long you're willing to keep going. Consistency creates rhythm. Rhythm creates momentum. Momentum creates mastery. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting. But it works. You won't always feel like it. You won't always see instant results. But every day you show up, you build. Every day you repeat, you grow. Success doesn't come from one massive effort. It comes from thousands of quiet choices. Made daily, repeated weekly, lived monthly, and over time, those small efforts become something unstoppable. So don't worry about being extreme. Be consistent. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for progress. Because intensity may inspire you, but consistency will change you. Successful people don't do more. They do less better. They aren't the busiest. They're the most focused. They don't fill their days with noise. They focus on the few things that move the needle. In a world obsessed with hustle, they choose precision. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things well. Most people are overwhelmed not because they're lazy, but because they're doing too much of what doesn't matter. They spread themselves thin, they chase every opportunity, they say yes to everything and wonder why they're burned out. But success isn't about volume, it's about clarity, clarity of purpose, clarity of priority. The successful cut the clutter, they eliminate distractions, they identify what matters most, and they give it everything. They don't multitask their way to success. They focus, they go deep, not wide. It's not that they work less hard, it's that they work more smart. They protect their time, they value their energy, and they understand that saying no is sometimes more powerful than saying yes. They've learned that excellence comes from depth, from repetition, from mastery. You don't need to do 10 things at once. You need to do one thing with excellence, then another, and then another. Success is not the result of scattered effort. It's the result of disciplined effort, directed effort, focused effort. A laser cuts through steel not because it tries harder, but because it's focused in one direction. That's how successful people operate. They don't chase every idea. They commit to the best one and see it through. They don't waste time proving they're busy. They spend their time getting results. They don't measure success by how much they do. They measure it by how well they do what matters. And they're not afraid to slow down and think. To pause, to plan, to reflect, because reflection is where wisdom lives, and wisdom leads to better decisions. Success isn't about speed, it's about direction. You can run fast in the wrong direction and still end up lost. But when you know what matters, when you choose quality over quantity, when you do less, but do it better, you begin to build something solid. That's how you make progress. That's how you stay in control. Life rewards those who master the essentials, not those who dabble in everything. So stop trying to do it all. Start doing what matters. Better, not perfectly, not instantly, but intentionally. Because the truth is, the people who win aren't doing more than you. They're just doing what matters most, with full focus and deep excellence. The daily routine is more important than the occasional breakthrough. People love the idea of breakthroughs, big wins, life-changing moments. The dramatic success story, but those moments are rare. They're the result of what happens in the quiet, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the simple, repetitive steps no one celebrates. Breakthroughs don't happen by accident. They are earned through routine. It's not the one great performance that defines you. It's the small, consistent choices that shape your path. A routine may seem boring, it may feel small, but it's what builds the foundation. It's what strengthens the mindset. It's what prepares you for the breakthrough. The truth is, no one sees your routine. They don't watch you show up when you're tired. They don't notice the practice, the repetition, the preparation. But that's where the real work is. That's where greatness is built. One breakthrough might catch attention, but it's your routine that keeps you rising. You can have a moment of genius, but it means nothing if it isn't supported by daily discipline. You can get a lucky break, but if you don't have the habits to back it up, you'll fall right back to where you started. The routine is where strength is developed, where resilience is built, where focus is sharpened. Every day you follow your routine, you cast a vote for the future you want. Every repetition counts, every early morning matters, every choice adds up. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, even on the days you feel off. even when results are slow, even when no one's clapping, because when the breakthrough finally comes, it won't feel like magic. It'll feel like a natural result, a product of all the invisible effort, all the hours no one counted, all the steps no one praised. Your routine is your anchor. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you moving forward. It keeps you aligned with your vision. You don't rise to the moment. You fall back to your routine. And if that routine is strong, you'll handle the pressure. You'll grow into the moment, because you've been preparing for it all along. The daily routine isn't glamorous, but it's what builds champions. It's what creates progress. It's what turns dreams into reality. So don't wait for a breakthrough to take action. Build a routine that brings the breakthrough to you. Show up, do the work, repeat day by day, hour by hour, step by step, because success doesn't come from one big move. It comes from thousands of small ones, done with purpose, and those small moves, they live inside your routine. Hope is not a strategy, habits are. Hope feels good, it's comforting, it gives you something to believe in, but on its own it doesn't change anything. You can hope for success. You can hope for a better future. You can hope your life improves. But unless you do something about it, hope stays a wish. Hope is passive. Habits are active. Hope waits. Habits move. You don't get healthy by hoping your body changes. You get healthy by exercising, by eating well, by showing up daily. You don't build wealth by hoping for a raise. You build it by managing your money, saving consistently, investing wisely. You don't grow your mind by hoping to be smart. You grow by reading, studying, asking questions, and staying curious. Habits are the engine. Hope is just the idea of the destination. One pushes, the other dreams. There's nothing wrong with hope. It's a great place to start, but it's a terrible place to stay. You can't sit around and wait for things to change. You must create the change through routine, through action, through commitment. Habits are the proof that you're serious. They're the evidence of your intent. What you do every day matters more than what you hope for someday. Small daily actions beat big hopeful dreams. Habits give structure to your life. They give rhythm to your growth. They take things out of your head and put them into motion. You may not control outcomes, but you can always control your habits. You may not know how everything will turn out, but you can still show up, still do the work, still take the step. Hope says, I wish. Habits say, I will. And that shift in language, that shift in mindset, that shift in behavior makes all the difference. If you want to grow, build the habits of growth. If you want to succeed, build the habits of success. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for perfect timing. Build the systems now, the rituals, the routines. Let your habits carry you when your energy fades. Let them anchor you when life feels uncertain. Because hope may lift you once in a while, but habits carry you every single day. You become what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally wish for. So dream big, that's fine, but act daily, that's better. Hope without habits is empty, but habits fueled by hope, that's power, that's movement, that's change, that's growth. Don't leave your future to chance. Design it with your daily actions, because hope is not a strategy, habits are. The system works when you work it. Success doesn't need to be reinvented. It's already been mapped out. There's a path, there's a process, there's a system. It doesn't require magic. It doesn't depend on talent alone. It depends on action, on consistency, on commitment. You don't need to guess what to do. You need to do what works and do it often. The system is simple, but it's not easy. It demands patience. It demands sacrifice. So if you're serious about changing your life, stop waiting, stop wondering, stop wishing. Start working the system, not just for a day, not just when it feels good, but every single day. Because real success isn't about what you know. It's about what you do consistently. Trust the process. Respect the structure, show up with discipline, and in time, the system will deliver, not because it's perfect, but because you worked it. And when you work the system works for you.